everyone, it's your girl Dayle. Today we're going to be doing a different kind of video. I'm going to introduce you guys to my newest ferret, Dany. And later on I'll explain, what a ferret is and, what family they're in and, and then here in a few minutes I'll show you what Dany looks like and everything. So let's go ahead and dive in. Whoa. Easy there, tiger. Easy there, my little cinnamon roll. Here. Okay, I tried to get some video footage of Dany, but he's a little bit rambunctious, so it was a little bit harder to do. So I'll have some video footage of him at, in between this, like before this, I'm gonna put some, ferret stuff of him, some video footage, and then I'm gonna put some after. Because I have 2 clips. Because it was really hard to get, to explain, to get me, him, and everything in the shot with my phone. So I'm just going to do it this way and explain what he is, what color he is, and everything. And show you the videos, the 2 clips of him later. He's a ferret, obviously. And a ferret is a small domesticated species belonging to the family Mustelidae. I'll put it, here, if you guys, if you're curious. The ferret is most likely a domesticated form of the wild European ferret or polecat. Evidenced of their infertility, other mustelids include stoat, badger, and mink. Physically, ferrets resemble other mustelids because of their long, slender bodies, including their tail. The average length of a ferret is about 50 centimeters, or 20 inches. They weigh about 0.7 and 2.0 kilograms, which is 1.5 and 4.4 pounds. And their fur can be black, brown, white, or a mixture of those colors. In this sexually dimorphic species, males are considerably larger than females. Ferrets may have been domesticated since ancient times, but there is widespread disagreement because of the sparseness of written accounts of the inconsistency of those which survive. Contemporary scholarships agrees that ferrets were bred for sport, hunting rabbits, and a practice known as rabbiting. I'm just reading from Wikipedia, so if this is wrong, please correct me. The name ferret is derived from the Latin frutus, meaning little thief, and likely reference to the common ferret penchant for secreting away small items. In Old English or Anglo-Saxon, the animal was called a meard or mearp, M-E-A-R-D or M-E-A-R-P, if you were wondering. The word ferret, which is spelled F-Y-R-E-T, seems to appear in the Middle English in the 14th century from the Latin, which modern spelling of ferret, which is F-E-R-R-E-T, by the 16th century. Ferrets have a typical, they have typical body shape, obviously. They sleep between 14 and 18 hours a day and are most active around hours of dawn and dusk, meaning they're crepuscular. Yeah, pretty sure that's correct. If they're caged, they should be taken out daily to exercise. Obviously, this is just basic ferret care and their behavior. Their diet, it says ferrets are obligate carnivores. Their natural diet of their wild ancestors consisted of whole prey, including meat, organ, bones, skin, feathers, and fur. I feed Draco, whole birds. I have her on an FDR diet, which is I can't remember it off the top of my head, but people who know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. That's what I feed Draco, and I also give her raw eggs. Obviously I whisk it up, and eventually in a couple weeks, once Dany's acclimated to here, to like me, my boyfriend, and my little brother, and the house and Draco, I'm gonna start getting him onto a raw food diet. I'm not gonna have him on Marshalls because the Marshalls is kind of like the equivalent of like the shittiest. Okay, I don't want to say the shittiest, but so what we're gonna do is we're gonna get him on a better diet. But right now, a couple weeks, it's gonna be okay. So he's acclimated to, so he's not like having so much at once, and plus it won't upset his stomach either. They have 12 incisor teeth. They have 4 canines, 12 premolar teeth, and 6 molar teeth. Didn't know that. They have a lot of fucking teeth. And then it says, my video cut off, sorry. Ferrets are known to suffer from several distinct health problems. Among the most common are cancers affecting the adrenal glands, pancreas, and lymphatic system. So like lymphoma, adrenal disease, insulinoma. Adrenal disease, a growth of the adrenal glands, can be either hyperplasia or cancer. It is most often diagnosed by signs of unusual hair loss, increased aggression, and difficulty urinating or, pooping. Insulinoma is a type of cancer of the islet cells of the pancreas. It's the most common in ferrets. Lymphoma is the most common malignancy in ferrets. There's 2 types of ferret. Lymphosarcoma, juvenile, and a fast-growing type that the juvenile one, which is a fast-growing type that affects ferrets younger than 2 years, and adult lymphosarcoma, which is a slower-growing one that affects ferrets 4 to 7 years old. They also can get distemper, influenza, COVID, ferret systemic coronavirus, technically. It also says a high portion of ferrets with white markings, which form coat patterns known as a blaze, badger, or panda coat, such as a stripe extending from the face down to the back of their head to their shoulder blades, or a fully white head, have a congenital deafness, partial or total, which is similar to Waardenburg syndrome in humans. Not every ferret's like this. It's, I don't know the exact statistic, but like it's, you'll know when you see it. Like, you'll know. There's like, you can tell the difference between, it also says here that most albino ferrets are not deaf, which this may be due to an underlying white coat pattern, which is obscured by the albinism. So, good to know. They were domesticated. It says in common with most domestic animals, the original reason for ferrets being domesticated by human beings is uncertain, but may have involved hunting. According to phylogenetic studies, the ferret was domesticated from the European polecat Mustela praetorius. And likely descends from a northern African lineage of the species. Analysis of mitochondrial DNA suggests that the ferrets were domesticated around 2,500 years ago. It has been claimed that the ancient Egyptians were the first to domesticate ferrets, but as no mummified remains of a ferret have yet been found, nor any hieroglyph of a ferret, and no polecat now occurs wild in the area. That idea seems unlikely. The American Society of Mammalogists classify M. furo as a distinct species. Ferrets were probably used by the Romans for hunting. Genghis Khan, ruler of the Mongol Empire, is recorded as using ferrets in a gigantic hunt in 1221 that aimed to purge an entire region of wild animals. Whoa. Colonies of feral ferrets have established themselves in areas where there's no competition from similarly sized predators, such as the Shetland Islands and in remote regions in New Zealand. Huh. Be right back. I'm about to go make a trip to New Zealand. Just right back. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Where ferrets coexist with polecats, hybridization is common. It has been claimed that New Zealand has the world's largest feral population of ferret-polecat hybrids. In 1877, farmers in New Zealand demanded that the ferrets be introduced into the country to control the rabbit population, which was also introduced by humans. 5 ferrets were imported in 1879, and in 1882 to 83, 32 shipments of ferrets were made from London, totaling 1,217 animals. Only 678 landed, and 198 were sent from Melbourne, Australia. On the voyage, the ferrets were mated with the European polecat, or were mated with the European polecat, creating a number of hybrids that were capable of surviving in the wild. In 1884 and 1886, close to 4,000 ferrets and ferret hybrids. Oops. Oh, did not mean to move that. My bad. Okay. Close to four. Okay. In 1884 and 1886, close to 4,000 ferrets and ferret hybrids, 3,099 weasels, and 137 stoats were turned loose. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of animals. There's regulation for ferrets as well. In Australia, it is illegal to keep ferrets as pets. In Queensland and the Northern Territory, in the Australian Capital Territory, a license is required. That sucks. But I mean, I get it. Because, I mean, as previously stated before, New Zealand and all that other, makes sense. Ferrets, and in Brazil, ferrets are only allowed if they are given a microchip identification tag and sterilized. In New Zealand, it has been illegal to sell, distribute, or breed ferrets in New Zealand since 2002 unless certain conditions are met. In the United States, ferrets were once banned in many U.S. states, but most of these laws were rescinded in 1980s and 1990s as they became popular pets. Ferrets are illegal in California under Fish and Game Code Section 2118, the California Code of Regulations, although it is not illegal for veterinarians in the state to treat ferrets kept as pets. Ferrets are also strictly prohibited as pets under Hawaii law. I know I'm probably saying this wrong. Hawaii? Right? No, I think. Law because they are potential carriers of the rabies virus. And the territory of Puerto Rico has a similar law. Ferrets are restricted by individual cities such as Washington, D.C. and New York City, which renewed its ban in 2015. They are also prohibited on any military bases. A permit to own a ferret is needed in other areas, including Rhode Island, Illinois, and Georgia. Illinois and Georgia do not require a permit to merely possess a ferret, but a permit is required to breed them. It was once illegal to own ferrets in Dallas, Texas, but the current Dallas City Code for Animals includes regulations for the vaccines of ferrets. Pet ferrets are legal in Wisconsin, however, legality varies by municipality. The city of Oshkosh, for example, classifies ferrets as a wild animal and subsequently prohibits them from being kept within city limits. Also, an import permit from the State Department of Agriculture is required to bring one into the state. Under common law, ferrets are deemed wild animals subject to strict liability for injuries they cause, but several states' statutory law has overruled the common law, deeming ferrets domestic. In Japan, the Hokkaido Prefecture, ferrets must be registered with the local government. In other prefectures, no restrictions apply. There's also, obviously you can't import them. In like certain places you can't import ferrets. But yeah, I was just, reading, some distinct stuff off Wikipedia and stuff, just, to get a general, so you get a general, consensus of what a ferret is. I'm not really, engaging a lot of play with him right now because he's kind of bitey. And he likes to take my jewelry. And he likes to bite everything. As seen here. He's just teething, and it's normal. Scratch the butt, scratch the butt. Chunky boy. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry it was a little bit long and probably a little bit boring, but it was just, this is something I wanted to do with Draco, but I couldn't really do that because I got COVID, and the recovery after COVID was so terrible that I was just like, no, I'm just not even, I don't even have the energy for it. But now, which is actually, technically, yesterday was a year anniversary after having COVID, I was that, yeah, it was pretty shitty. But yeah, please hit like, subscribe, leave a comment if you want to, learn more stuff about animals and ferrets. Bye.